Where exactly were you incarcerated for, like, the first 4 years, you said?
First 4 years, I really was in Westville. You know, I was in the holding facility in Vermilion County. Then they shipped me to Westville.
Okay.
Yeah, and I completed it in Westville and got out. Then in 2010, I did another 4 years in Westville.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the conditions like for you?
The conditions, anybody who's ever been in Westville will tell you the conditions are terrible. Like horrible. Like you're burning up in the summer and you're freezing to death in the winter. There's broken windows all throughout any dorm you go through. Okay. The guards treated you with disdain, constant disrespect. The gangs that was there, you know, I'm a big black dude and I'm plugged with a lot of people. When I go, I got a little name out here, so anywhere I went I was always good, but that didn't mean that I didn't have to endure, you know, the brutality and the inhumane treatment, you know. But guys who aren't as big as me, and guys, I felt even worse for them because some of those guys had to join gangs because they would be constantly belittled, constantly threatened, constantly assaulted, you know. And then when guards hear of this, a lot of times they don't care. There's been guards to tell me, hey, I would bring you a pack of cigarettes and a lighter if you beat that guy up really, really nice. It's got to be nice. You know. And back then, in that wretched state of my mind that I was in, then I'd be like, a pack of cigarettes? That's $150. That's $150, you know. And a lighter? Psh, that's power in prison. And we used to you know, we used to carry that out, you know. So so there was no place where you can turn in there to receive some type of guidance, to receive some type of positive structure. If you did get it, it was from primarily older guys who were incarcerated, who already figured out the things that I am figuring out now, that this whole system is a bunch of BS.
It almost perpetuates, like, the violence within.
It definitely perpetuates it. That's exactly what it's designed to do. Yeah. There are no solutions in prison. Yeah.
What about, like, just maybe basic, like, necessities? Can you speak on that at all? Like shampoo, soap, like, just basic needs to, like, live?
You don't have basic needs. Okay, the state does once a month. If you have proven to have nothing on your account for over like 60 to 90 days, then the state will finally give you the most menial, the most bare minimum of amenities, as far as something to brush your teeth with, as far as some deodorant to put on, as far as paper and a stamp. You would get 2 stamps a month to write somebody with. Nothing on your phone account, nothing for you to see medical, you know, not all that stuff. But they would give you the base minimum, and it was worthless. That deodorant, you would do better without using it. The toothpaste, you would brush your teeth, and you'd notice your breath be more funkier in 2 hours, you know. So people will wake up and just, you know, scalding hot water in their mouth, you know, and keep rinsing and spitting. I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible conditions that you learn to live with. And once you get adjusted with living with that, you devalue yourself. Yeah. You devalue yourself, which is exactly the mind state that they want you to adopt. Yeah.
Were there any, like, maybe ways that you were, like, forced to kind of get, like, creative in order to just, I don't know, try to not feel like that, I guess? Like, coping mechanisms, I guess?
I mean, there are coping mechanisms, but you got to understand too, as a young man, the ways that you cope, you're not going to choose the most the most enlightened
Right.
ways to deal with this, you know, because you're laying there and you stink to your own nostrils and you're hungry and you're losing weight in there, and then three of your best friends come in there and say, hey man, dude down there just bought $150 worth of commissary, he's got this, that, and this and that and this and that and this and that. Psh, let's go get it. You know, let's go get it. You know, it becomes the prime option, you know, just to take from somebody else. And then there were other ways you would sell something. You would sell tobacco that the guards and the officials, the people who worked there would bring in. You would sell marijuana. You would sell drugs, you know, and everybody would try to connect and plug with somebody who had access to that, so that you can get in and you can just continue to. So now you're not learning how to be even more astute drug dealer, because now you're selling drugs in some very scrutinized circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're learning how to move now, you're just gaining more confidence for when you get out of here. Because if I was able to sell drugs in here for 6 months without anybody knowing, I can definitely do well out there when everything's not just a tight, confined cell block. I got streets and avenues I can move around, you know, so it just emboldens you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you say that there wasn't really many like rehabilitation programs then? Like,
there were none. There were zero. There was nothing to rehabilitate you back when I was incarcerated in the 90s. You had your GED, and you did have college at that time, but not too many people even dealt with the college thing. You know, only certain people who were a little bit more of age and could see the value of that. I don't even remember trades at that time. You know, I really don't even remember trades. You know, but even then, those schools were jokes. Yeah, those schools were jokes. When I finally did start getting into trades, and you know, one in particular was I took a PowerPoint class and a Word class, you know, and I remember like 85% of people, they would just go to the, you know, you have your teacher and then you have he's called a clerk in there, and the clerk would do all the teaching, so the teacher wouldn't have to do nothing. So the clerk would grade papers and all that, you know. So all you have to do, you can write A all the way down the test. Go to the clerk and say, "Hey man, here goes $20. Got your coffee, got your cheese, got your summer sausages. There you go. What do I get?" He said, "You wrote A everywhere. I'm gonna give you an A." And that's it. You know, yeah. So even the trade schools and the classes, they really didn't amount to much, because there were so many ways to circumvent them. And then the teacher, they know what's going on, but the state gives them a quota. You have to pass 75 people this year. If you do not, we're going to discontinue your class. So it behooves them to turn a blind eye to allow this stuff to carry forth. You know.
I know you mentioned the trades. Were there like any other, I don't know, like working? Did you have to hold a job or anything?
Yes. You can hold jobs. You would probably work in the kitchen. You can work in the barber shop. You can work on grounds crew, cleaning up the. You know, some guys work the visitation rooms. You know, some guys work laundry. So you could get like out of like 100% of people who goes to prison, 30% of them could have some level of employment to where they get on average $20 a month. Yeah. So with that $20, you got to budget that for a whole month. You know, yeah. So that's stay pay. And then the rest of those guys, you were called idle. You were idle. So you were put on idle. And when you were put on idle back then, they used to give you $8 a month for being idle. So now with your $8 a month, and now you're in the worst dorms because now you don't work at all, you know. So these dorms are extremely violent, extremely gang ridden, you know, just sharks literally at each other's throats. Yeah.